Hello.
Come on,
Hello.
Joy.
What a wonderful evening. I take this wonderful opportunity to thank the good Lord for giving me this wonderful time. Today I'm going to speak about this great prophet, Prophet Ezekiel. Ezekiel is one of the prophets, that's one of the Old Testament prophets. And the theme here will be the call of this great prophet and his experience as a prophet of the Most High. What does really mean to be called? What does it mean that the Spirit of God descends upon somebody? It's like the apostles. So we are going to cross examine that. Before we start, in our Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I invite the power of the Holy Spirit at this juncture to guide me as I'm going to reflect on this great prophet and a reflection of a prophet from the Old Testament to the New Testament to see the experience of this prophet. And sometimes people think that prophets only existed in the Old Testament. Prophet exists to eternity because God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So the theme here will come from the book of Ezekiel chapter 2. Here we are going to see how this prophet of God was called. And reads the call of this great prophet Ezekiel. And when I saw this, I fell downwards on the ground. So each prophet has an experience. Some will raise their hands to the heavens as the Spirit of God descends upon them. And in fear of the Lord, they will pray and glorify God. But to experience of this prophet, he lays down. If we look at Moses, he moves nearer to the burning bush, which was not consumed. You see, that is an experience. You look at Isaiah, a man of God. He looks and says, I'm a man of unclean deeds, a man of unclean lips. I dwell among his people with unclean deeds, a man of unclean spirit. You see, each person has a different experience with the living God. So let's see. So what does he do? I fell down, I fell face downwards on the ground. Then I heard a voice saying, Mortal man, stand up. I want to talk to you. Who is speaking? Here, God is speaking directly to this great prophet. But what is the reaction? He fell prostrate. And the Lord speaks to him. While the voice was speaking, God's spirit entered me and raised me to my feet, and I heard the voice continue. Mortal man, I'm sending you to the people of Israel. So the Lord was telling him, I'm sending you to the people of Israel. Who? The people of Israel. They have repelled and turned against me and are still rebels just as the ancestors were. So if we really cross-examine why a prophet is called, it's because of rebellion. So God doesn't really appear just, he doesn't show up just by coincidence. He reappears to people or he speaks to people. He manifests himself to people or to prophets because of the rebelliousness of the people of Israel at the time. If a prophet exists in our time, God sends the prophets to the nations because of the rebellion of our time. For instance, we may talk about great violence in our days, exploitation of the poor, immorality of the highest caliber in our time. Those are the things that God was looking. Look at the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. If you look at the city of Nineveh. And those are examples how God was calling people with a specific agenda. God called the people, like Ezekiel as a prophet, and they said, I'm sending you to the people of Israel because of their rebellion. Rebellion means to go against, to do contrary to divine teaching, to do contrary to divine law. So this was the reason why this great prophet is sent. They are stubborn and do not respect me. To be stubborn means you don't listen, you don't heed to truth. And so I'm sending you to tell them what I, the sovereign Lord, am saying to them. So God is sending this great prophet with a command from himself. And he's telling him to go and tell them what the Lord is going to tell them. He's speaking to them. Whether those rebels listen to you or not, they will know that a prophet has been amongst them. So, a prophet works as a preach to the people of God. It's like Christ coming to the world. He works as a preach to the Father, the Holy Spirit. He works like a connection with the people of God and God Himself, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But you, mortal man, must not be afraid of them. All of anything they say, they will divide and despise you. So, when a prophet or preachers or a time are called, it's not that people are going to listen to them, or they are going to be welcomed as kings or messiahs. It is contrary to that. People are going to look at them, they're going to watch them, despise them, feel that they are nobody. And that's exactly what this great prophet Ezekiel is being told by the Lord. And it will be like living among scorpions, scorpion. Think of a scorpion and it is whatever, and you're going living within that. That is the life that this great prophet was being sent. Imagine now that you call yourself you are a man of God. You go to people and they will look at you and think you're crazy. And they will ask you, are they not doctors in such a place? They will think you're mentally sick, or they will think that you don't have a sense of direction, or you don't know what you're doing. And that is exactly what God was telling this great prophet. But he is telling, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid of them. They're going to be like scorpions. And you're going to live amongst them. But do not be afraid of them. All I want you to do is to do what I have sent you to do. That's what a lot of these great prophets. Still, do not be afraid of those rebels. All of anything they say, you will tell them whatever I tell you to say. Whether they listen or not, remember what rebels they are. So the Lord is reassuring this great prophet to go and tell them what he has to say to them. And he has to remember that they are rebels. So God, in reaction to our undertaking, he knows exactly who we are and the people we are going to face. If you're a preacher, that's why the apostles were there. Do not cut anything. Go with just your sandals. And he didn't tell them that they are going to be greeted as angels or as great people. That will be contrary to divine truth. So you go where God sends you. It's the reality of life. And that is the law of the prophet. That's the law of a messenger of the Lord. You are called not to be fame, not to be glorious, not to be glorified, but to tell the people of God what the voice of the Lord speaks to you. And in fact, that is the reality about prophets and the messengers of God, true messengers of God. Mortal man, listen to what I tell you. Do not be rebellious like them. Open your mouth and eat what I am going to give you. I saw a hand stretched out towards me, and it was holding a scroll. And unrolled the scroll, and I saw that there was a writing on both sides. Cries of grief were written there, and willies and gowns. So what this Ezekiel is the cries of God. And the people who are rebellious, now God is sending him there. If we go to chapter 3, we will see that God said, mortal man, eat this scroll and then go and speak to the people of Israel. That you're given the word, an experience of a prophet, that you get the divine revelation. It doesn't belong to you. You go to the people of God. Yours is to go and speak the message of the word. Brethren, let's examine this and imagine how many people who go out there to proclaim the word and think you expect miraculous reception. It is would be impossible. It's real and it's a lifetime experience. So this prophet was not to be expecting things which are glorious, but he was to go and speak the word as it was given to him. And he was not to be afraid of the scorpions, the people that he was going to offend. He was not to be afraid that he was not the reception of these people because they were already rebellious. That is exactly what we see in our modern times. We are not exempt. We are exactly living in the timeline of this great prophet Ezekiel. And we are not indifferent from such an experience. May the Lord bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.